Every snap is an interview.
After the Snap.
What a snap.
Hey, keep your mouth shut, 50!
I lead by example.
With Blake and Reed Ferguson, discussing life in, out, and after football.
To be able to leave walking away with a degree and a championship, it couldn't be any better.
Yeah!
Well, you can take this boy out the real South on but you can't take the real South out of my voice. And now here we go again, twist a little bit deeper because I got thick skin. You must be selling me something.
So, Blake, I saw a couple days ago the NFL obviously trying to take over just every holiday, every month of the year possible. I mean, you think the offseason, they own the offseason. You know, February, you got the combine. That's the middle of NBA season and NHL season. People are worried about the combine. March, you got free agency bonanza, right? April, May, leading up to the draft, the schedule. June, July, you're starting to get into training camp, and then August, you're starting it up all over again. And it's major headline on every news story every morning on every TV channel. But I saw this article talking about the NFL playing on Christmas this year, and how basically, obviously, the NBA has made that into a major tradition, and the NFL basically said, the Mike Tomlin gif, we do not care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it will affect the NBA numbers, but this will just be another holiday that the NFL will just swallow up and make their own. And the article that Reed is referring to, there's going to be 11 Christmas Eve games this year. And then I think that's
which will
Christmas
be on
Eve.
Saturday.
11 games on Christmas Eve. And then that's also including a night game on NFL Network. And then on Christmas, there's the triple header. And then they will actually close that weekend with still keeping the Monday Night Football slot on December 26th. So it'll be a huge weekend of football. I remember growing up watching NBA on Christmas. It was, a lot of times it was Kobe versus LeBron. And, I haven't watched that in several years, the NBA on Christmas Day. But I have to think that this is going to be incredibly detrimental to the NBA viewership on December.
I mean, I think there's no other way to go about it. The NFL takes over wherever they go. They own Thanksgiving, they own the off season, they own basically the whole fall. I mean, you look at the top 100 shows every year. I think top 100 shows of 2021, like 80 or 85 of them were NFL games. And one of them was the Super Bowl. Obviously, like top was the Super Bowl or whatever. I mean, it's just, and then there's another report of the NFL. The Amazon is trying to buy an NFL game to play on Black Friday. Again, another holiday that the NFL is trying to take over. When that'll be 2 days in a row. Thanksgiving, obviously one of the biggest days of the NFL year. You call them 3 primetime games. I mean, I think they're primetime because everybody's watching and nobody else is playing and nobody's working. Followed up the next day with a Black Friday game on Amazon Prime. I mean, that's just another holiday takeover.
What I do think is interesting about this whole Christmas Day ordeal is that they put so many of the games that week on Christmas Eve. And Christmas this year falls on a Sunday, so those are all going to be Saturday games. Why not just keep all of those on Sunday at 1:00 and then, continue to have your 2 afternoon and 1 Sunday night game as would be regularly scheduled? What's the thinking behind moving all of those games to the day before?
Because you can money talks. And I think the idea behind it is you can get roughly the same viewership as you would on a normal Sunday on Christmas Eve, on that Saturday. People are going to be home. They're going to be tuning into all their local games, right, on that Saturday. So it's going to be that Christmas Eve day, Saturday, is going to be like a normal NFL Sunday. But the NFL played its hand nicely, and now they can fully set up with the advertisements, the marketing, everything. They can put a ton of money into, like I said, advertising those Christmas Day games and running those running those ads and getting those games going up against, like we mentioned, those NBA games, to take the viewership away from the NBA and basically turn that Sunday into not a normal NFL Sunday, but it's Christmas.
Yeah,
it's a special holiday. It'd be like if Thanksgiving landed on a Sunday, right? They'd still do the same thing.
They would just
because
hog
it's
the whole
Thanksgiving,
weekend
right?
instead of
They
they
would move all the games to Sunday and or Saturday, and one game to Monday, and have a couple primetime games on Sunday afternoon, because they know everybody's home and everybody's going to be watching. So it's just another way for them to capitalize on the viewership, because they're going to get the same number of viewers on that Saturday, Christmas Eve, as they would on any normal week slate of NFL games that they would on any normal Sunday. They just get the same thing on the Saturday. Now they can advertise and market that they are playing on Christmas.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. And it looks like the NFL isn't done announcing big games and big dates in the near future. Thursday night football game, the first Thursday night football game is going to be announced on the first night of the draft. The international games, London and Munich this year, going to be announced on May 4th. And then, as you mentioned earlier, NFL coming to Black Friday as well. Definitely in this year, maybe even next year. So the NFL is continuing to just take over everything and everywhere, it seems like.
I do a little bit of perusing when it comes to like the schedule stuff. I'm super intrigued by, obviously the day the schedule comes out, Twitter's going bananas over piecing together. Oh, well, it's kind of like solving a Sudoku puzzle, where you're like, well, I figured out this number goes here, so that means this number goes here, and this game goes here, and you're not going to play 3 home games in a row or 3 away games in a row, so this team can't move here, and we play them, and we still got a division game, and you know how it goes.
Yep.
One of the major rumors, obviously the Super Bowl champ kicks off that Thursday night game, the first game of the season. There is a big rumor that we will be going out there to play the Rams on that first Thursday night game. I think there's some contingencies around it. Obviously they want the big storyline. Last year it was Bucks Cowboys, which was a great game. Just think back to a couple, that Thursday night game kicking off the NFL season, there, all eyes are watching. It's usually going to be a big game. You kind of want to attract those eyes. I think, given our situation, what we're coming off of, we signed Von Miller, that's obviously a big storyline, former player that always plays well with the media kind of leading up to those big primetime games. So you have to think that we're definitely in the running to be, we play at the Rams sometime this year. So, it definitely could be that first Thursday night game. So I'm anxious for this week, the draft, obviously, to start, and we can figure out who that Thursday night game is.
Well, we did talk a little bit about the draft earlier, but this is draft week. This will actually be released the morning following the first round of the draft. But later in this episode, we have Miami Dolphins wide receiver Jaylen Waddle, who was last year's 6th overall pick, joining us on the pod here shortly. But before we do, it's a big week, man. I'm thinking back to 2 years ago. There's, a lot of memories that come back to those phone calls and just all that happens around the draft, all the anticipation and everything, from both a fan perspective and 2 years ago for me as a player, and going on 7 years for you as a player. So I'm pumped. I love watching at least the first round of the draft. Second and third gets, I usually don't watch too much on Friday, and then Saturday we obviously like to tune in to see which of our specialist buddies are going to be picked up. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I know you are too.
Yeah, definitely. It's like you mentioned, the first night, obviously, a ton of fun to watch. I think I saw something yesterday. Our team reporter, shout out to Sal Capaccio. I think he tweeted out, I think we have the 25th pick, if I remember correctly. That pick is normally made, I think he tweeted like the last 3 years, that pick is made at like 11:06 p.m., 11:08 p.m., and then last year was like 11:20 p.m. So it's like if you're watching and you're a Bills fan, you just kind of got to know, it's going to be a while before it gets to our team for that first round pick. But it'll be exciting. I think that the past couple years, except for the year obviously that you were getting drafted in 2020, I think since I've been in the league, it's kind of just like I'll watch the first night to kind of see who we get in the first round, and then kind of just follow along, on my phone and just see kind of who we take, and not really do as much watching on Friday and Saturday. But definitely Saturday we'll be tuned in to see how many specialists get taken, just because it's there's always a couple every year.
That's right. How many picks do y'all have this year?
I want to say 6 or 7. I really don't know. I think we've got. I know we have the 25th pick, but after that I don't really know. I don't know.
This year we only have 4 picks this year. We traded away a lot of those in the Tyreek Hill trade. We have a 3rd round pick, a 4th round pick, and then 2 7th round picks. So not a whole lot of change is going to happen in the team that we have in the building right now, going through phase 2 to our first game. There won't be a whole lot of new faces. So and that was something that Coach McDaniel mentioned in his first team meeting that we had, is that these are the guys that we're going to be going to battle with. So you better get to know them. But I will be, obviously, like you said, tuning in to kind of see who we end up picking and who's going to be sporting the aqua and orange for us this year.
Yeah. So last thing I wanted to mention, obviously this is a big week. I spend a lot of time on Twitter, trying to build personal branding stuff and just staying informed with the whatever the recent news is.
Show the people your T-shirt. You're hiding your shirt. You had a big announcement.
Mr. Nice Industries got the Grills Mafia merch up and rolling. That went live on Saturday. We will. You can go to my page or at Grills Mafia on Instagram to order your stuff.
Well, it is time to get into the reason you are all here today. We have Miami Dolphins wide receiver Jaylen Waddle joining us. He set the rookie receptions record for the NFL last year, spent 3 years at Alabama in the years prior. We are pumped to have him on. Here we go. Joining us on After the Snap this week, we have Dolphins wide receiver Jaylen Waddle. Jaylen, we are super pumped to have you on. First of all, thank you for joining us. But secondly, we've got a lot going on with the Miami Dolphins organization lately. New coach, a couple of new additions in the wide receiver room. Tell us how excited you are about all of the changes going on.
I'm very excited. I think the players that we brought in, especially in the room, are great guys. They all have great character and they work every day. So you got a room like that, it's always good.
Yeah, you were in a super competitive wide receiver room in college, and now you're in the same type of situation here in Miami. How does being in a receiver room with guys like Tyreek and Cedrick make you a better player?
I mean, I think it just push you every day. Push you to, rise up to the challenge because they're going to bring it. So it makes you just improve every day. You forced to improve. Yeah,
Coach McDaniel is somebody that has gained a lot of buzz in the media, specifically over the last couple of months, as he's been, the buzz was kind of as he was leading up to being named the head coach. And even since then, it seems like he's the next young offensive-minded head coach in the league after McVay and Shanahan and all those guys. What are you excited about when it comes to his style of offense?
Just his schemes. He's like very, very smart. Everybody got a set job, and if you do it, it's gonna open up something. And the way he thinks before every step is just like incredible. And that's just in a short time of us like working together. You can already see it.
So, Jalen, following up from Blake's first question, talking about your receiver room, that a couple new additions in there now. Who's the fastest?
Hey,
could you beat Tyreek in a race? I need to know who wins the 10-yard sprint.
Hey, we 10 yards. 10 yards. I gotta say, I got a wicked 10 yards. Like I got a wicked 10 yards. You always gotta go with yourself.
10-yard splits nasty.
Well, some of those big linemen, they're quick 10 yards. But the quicker guys take over. But,
yeah, most definitely. Nah, but yeah, me and Cheetah, he's very competitive. He pushes everybody every day, just like we push him. So it's all good competition, honestly. But yeah, I know we gonna race one of these days.
I did notice back when we first started the phase 1, and we were doing the conditioning and the speed drills out in the indoor with Coach Paloka. You and Cheetah were partnered up, and you guys were going shot for shot. It was sort of the race where one guy was on his stomach and one guy was trying to catch the other. You guys were going back and forth, man. It was super competitive.
Yeah, it is super competitive, and with a guy like that, I think he's just gonna bring that not just for the receiver room but for the team. He's just gonna add that aspect to our team, which is always good.
So a guy that I grew up watching a lot, Wes Welker, had a great career in the league. Obviously, he is your new receivers coach. What are some things that you're hoping he brings to the room? Some things you're hoping to learn from him? Kind of the way, are you taking anything from his style of play, or are you just kind of going in with an open mind?
I think, he really like changed the game for especially modern day slots. He really is the guy that if you want to play slot, like the modern day slot, you just look at Wes Welker film. So it's always good. It's always good to have a coach that played. He can really get insightful, and he's been in a player position. So he can really go detail for detail on what you need to do. How can you, what you're seeing out there. So I think Wes' knowledge for the game is just unmatched.
Yeah. So kind of building on that, is he somebody you may model part of your game after? Who are some of those guys, looking back through, kind of who you watched growing up? Who do you try to model your game after?
Growing up, I watched all type of receiver that not even similar build to mine. I watched all different type. I can start from the Julio Joneses, the Antonio Browns, the Tyreek Hills, Santana Moss. I watched everybody. If you was playing on Sunday, I watched you.
Sounds like you take quite a bit of each of those different receivers. I mean, you got the Alabama connection with Julio, and I would say that you and AB are very similar in the way that you guys run routes and stuff. So I can see how you might have taken a little bit from each of those guys. But you seem like you can be a pretty reserved guy in the locker room sometimes. You have your buds that you kind of roll with, but overall pretty reserved. Is trash talk a part of your game? And if so, what are some things that you like to do to get in the heads of cornerbacks and safeties?
Like surprise. Like I remember in college, I used to be like talking like trash, but like in the league, I really don't even be saying too much for real. Like I don't really like talk trash a lot to be honest, which really like surprised me. I don't know. Like it just I don't know. I really don't even talk trash like that for real.
It had to be because they were on you guys so much about getting back to the huddle last year that
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You were so focused on getting back into the huddle. And
definitely, I needed to hear all the plays, all that. So that's a big reason.
Yeah.
So change the subjects a little bit, kind of jumping more into the college side of things. Something we have talked about a lot over the past almost a year or so since this NIL stuff kicked in for college athletes. Then the development of all of those rules. How do you think, from guys you've talked to, or maybe some of your experience dealing with that, how do you think that'll change college sports moving forward with recruiting and guys that are at the school now and some of the stuff they can pursue on the personal side of things?
I think it just brings another aspect of like recruiting. Like it could be a good thing for like colleges and the college players. I think it's like a good thing that they're actually can make money off their likeness and things like that. But it just brings another like dynamic to recruiting. I feel like one of the first questions that recruits gonna ask is, what are y'all doing about NIL? So I look at it like college got to like universities got to adjust and put that more into, and it's still new. So I know it's like not going to be, as like clean as it going to be in a couple of years. But I like it for the players. Honestly, just I missed it by a year, but from what I hear, all my college teammates, they like it.
Would you have pursued a Waffle House sponsorship?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I eat Waffle.
I saw Blake's.
I'm Waffle House. I used to eat Waffle House like every day, so of course I had to. I would have to.
We grew up in the headquarters of Waffle House, so we know we know all about it. Blake,
that's right.
I remember back in high school, Thursday nights, Blake would go out and eat 2 all-star specials.
Hey man,
that's like nobody's business.
Yeah, that's my go-to, right? That all-star gonna do it every time.
He loves Waffle House, and he's always open. That is like
they
match
always
made
open.
in heaven. You have to have a Waffle House endorsement deal. Got to do it.
Got to.
So staying on the college side of things, coming out of Houston, why did you pick Alabama over Texas A&M, and a few of those other schools that you were looking at, and maybe staying in state? Why did you end up in Tuscaloosa?
I just feel like coming out, like everybody was telling me why I shouldn't go to Bama. Like they had, like great receivers coming back. What's called? So I think like it was more like just the competitive side of me knowing I have to work for everything. Nothing was gonna be given, and ultimately to get to the next level, the next step was ultimately also in my mind when I made my decision to go to University of Alabama. So all that came into consideration when I finally decided to go.
I feel like sometimes those like there's either the players that want to go to a school that is a completely empty position room and they want to be the standout guy, or you could go to, like you did, go to Alabama and you've got every first round wide receiver under the sun in the same wide receiver room, and it's only making you a better player.
Right.
I feel like you see kind of both of those sometimes, but I gotta give you kudos because you did have to wait your turn, and it obviously paid off for you. So, but as we're kind of moving through your college career, you dealt with some injuries, and you took a punt back on us in 2019. You just embarrassed me. You looked me right in the eyes and then turned and kept running. You end up deciding to forego your senior year. What kind of walk us through that decision and why you decided to leave Alabama and head to the NFL?
Yeah, I think it was just the perfect time. I was coming back off of a injury. I just thought it was the time to go. I really didn't. I mean, it was still going to be like competitive for me to come back. We still have a lot of talent, and I think UA going to always have, top of the art talent, But I just felt like it was just my time to go. Felt like I was ready. I stacked up some good film, some good games. So felt like it was that time.
I feel like we didn't hit hard enough on this punt return. I wanted to bring it up. I know you dusted Blake, who is now your teammate.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all talked about that? I know it had to come up in the locker room.
Yeah, Blake told me about I was mad they didn't call it face mask. Like that's what I was mad about. It's supposed to be a face mask on the play. No face mask, no nothing.
I gotta say, when I came off the field after running, I mean, it was a huge punt. Zach, I think, punted that ball like 50-something yards. I ran all the way down. Racy proceeds to grab your face mask, and I'm going nuts, thinking that we've just tackled you. I didn't see the face mask at the time, and then he just like, let's go. This is, his instinct was to let go, and then all of a sudden Jalen's, going big field return, and I thought I had a good angle on you. And like I mentioned earlier, I remember it clear as day. You turned to kind of see who was tracking you, looked me dead in my eyes, turned back towards the end zone, and just like found another gear. And that was it. And I came off the field and I was gassed, like so tired. And I'm pretty sure you were in you probably went right back out onto the field, but I was, yeah. I probably sat on the bench for the next 3 series just trying to catch my breath.
Yeah, most definitely. LSU Bama game's always fun.
That's right. So the NFL draft is obviously coming up this week, and you were drafted number 6 overall a year ago. You were at the draft, and is that something that you had always wanted to do? Obviously you watch the draft growing up, you see guys coming out and getting their jerseys. Is that something that you had always dreamt of doing?
Honestly, I was in debate on did I want to stay home and do something more and have more of my family there, or did I want to go to the actual draft? And you can only have a select few. It was during COVID, so it was real strict on how many people you could bring. But I ultimately decided to go. I thought it was going to be a good experience. A lot of my teammates was going, so I just wanted to go. It was something different, and it was a special night.
Well, so when did you, thinking back kind of early days starting football, when did you think that the NFL, or when did you realize that the NFL and making it to playing on Sundays would be a real possibility for you?
I never really just thought. I just was just playing just because I enjoyed playing, to be honest. I never was thinking the next step until I started getting offers and things like that. But until then, I was just playing because I just enjoy the game.
I got one more question on the draft. When you were there, obviously you said it was during COVID. What was it like being in that green room? It looked like you guys were kind of sectioned off from the other players, which is different from in the past. Normally you're just kind of at your own table and it's just a big open room and there's a phone on the table. What was it like? Was it quiet in there? Was it kind of awkward? Was it loud, with all the different groups of people in there? What was that like?
It was pretty quiet, to be honest. It was pretty quiet. The room was actually big because everybody had their own, different space and stuff. But it was actually pretty quiet. Then someone to get drafted, and then people go crazy loud and things like that. But it was pretty quiet. I think a lot of players was nervous and just anxious to see where they was gonna go.
And then what was that moment like when you got the phone call?
It was special. It was real special. Just hearing the organization saying that we're gonna draft you, and then seeing your name pop up on that screen, and it was damn, this is actually happening.
Yeah, man. I remember when I received my phone call from Mr. Greer, it was a moment that I just had to remember to breathe. It was almost like I blacked out in that moment. It was just all so surreal.
Right.
And that time flies. I mean, you're looking back, it's only been a year, but it's crazy probably to look back and think, man,
Like
that was a year ago.
They ain't lying. Went by fast.
For me, it's been 2 years now. And so, but obviously wouldn't change it for the world. Last question that we have for you before we get into a couple of little fun questions that we like to call short snaps. The last real question that we have is maybe a little more sentimental, maybe a little more thoughtful. What is your why, and why do you do what you do?
I think my why is, to give people that come from similar backgrounds to me and where I come from that you can do it. Just the little things that, we not fortunate to have growing up. We have to, work for, and we're going to find that special thing to get us to where we want to be and get the things that we, didn't grow up having, just do work. So I think, giving back and giving guys, kids, especially, just that sign of hope, and that you can do it if you put your mind to it and hard work.
Couple short snaps here, or quick snaps, I guess. So I know you've only played 1 year, but you can give your best answer here. What is your favorite away stadium to play in? Vegas Stadium was nice. Vegas Stadium, it felt like you was in a nightclub in there. It was nice. All right, and now go other end of the spectrum. What is your least favorite that you've played in so far?
Least favorite.
Say Buffalo. Say Buffalo. Say Buffalo.
Least favorite, probably.
You can't say Buffalo until you've been up here in December.
I ain't gonna lie, it was cold as hell when we went up there last.
It was October.
We went up there last time. It was cold as hell when we went up there last time. Tennessee. It was just I don't even think it was like just the stadium. It was just the day was just so.
It was nasty.
It was a nasty day.
We went from a Friday practice where it was like 87 degrees on New Year's Eve and played the game in Nashville. It was like 35 and spitting rain. We all had our jacket, like the big coats on the side.
I'm like, yeah. So that Tennessee game was sucked.
Okay, so last one, and this came up. We've asked all of our guests this every episode to get their official opinion. But last year we played at Kansas City. I think it was like week 5, Sunday Night Football, and it was a little bit of a weather game in the second half. But at halftime, there was a long weather delay, so we had a long halftime. So we were hanging out in the hallway, eating some food, eating some quick snacks, and I had a PB&J. And I started talking to Michelle Tafoya, the NBC, the sideline lady reporter. And we kind of got into a discussion that there was too much peanut butter on the Sandos. I call them Sandos sandwiches. So I need to know, and it eventually made its way onto the broadcast somehow. I didn't know until after the game. But we need to know, what is your ideal peanut butter and jelly ratio if you are making your own sandwich?
Definitely 75% peanut butter, 25% jelly.
Man,
gotta be.
I think that's one of the highest, Blake. I think that's one of the highest we've heard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Usually it's like 60-40.
Most are around 60-40.
Nah,
that's too much jelly for you.
It's too much damn jelly. Like 75-25.
Jalen said he wants a peanut butter sticking to the roof of his mouth.
Gain that weight.
That's right. Well, man, we really appreciate you coming on. This has been an absolute blast for us. Obviously, the NFL draft coming up this week. Your buddy Jameson Williams is going to be selected, hopefully on Thursday night. We'll be tuning in. Hopefully you will too.
Most definitely.
Well, a big thank you to Jalen for joining us on the pod today. Reed, I just loved when he was talking about his why there at the end. He talked about, where he came from and just being able to provide hope and just being able to give back to his community there in Houston. I just think that's so awesome. He's such a fun guy to have around in the locker room, and he's going to be fun to watch for years to come.
Yeah, I thought that was great. That was great to have him on. He did a great job, gave a lot of insightful answers. I definitely am going to need to see the results of this race that he said is hopefully going to happen. I'm sure somebody from the Dolphins media department will have eyes on that at some point in the near future. Yeah,
hopefully eyes and a camera. Maybe we can get it worked out to do some sort of charity event where it's, it's set up and there's some sponsors and things like that. That would be really, really cool. Well, that is a wrap on this week's episode of After the Snap. Thank you all for joining us. We had such a good time with Jaylen on the pod today. Keep checking back to see who we have on next time. You can now follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media at After the Snap Pod. We will be putting out full-length episodes on YouTube, as well as some video content on Instagram and Twitter. Look in all of those places for all of the content that you want to consume. As always, this has been After the Snap, tales from two brothers who live life upside down. Hit it, Chris.